It's just wholesome as all hell, and I just needed that. Really knowing is good. Not knowing or refusing to know is bad, or amoral at least. You can't act if you don't know. Acting without knowing takes you right off the cliff. There's something purely magical about this book. I've always loved Ray Bradbury. I think I was drawn mostly to his personality, and I read, some of his short stories and Fahrenheit 451 and stuff like that, but I was just so drawn to this personality that was so full of love and excitement and creativity, and he spoke about living life in a way that was just so full of idealism. I guess I really needed a good Bradbury story, and I'm very happy that I read Something Wicked This Way Comes, because at its core, it's just a poem of love. I mean, I don't really know any other way to put it. It is written with love. It is about just loving being alive and the joys and the fears and the excitement and the thrill of growing up. So what is this book even about? And why does it make me feel so emotionally connected to it? It's about these two kids. I think they're 13 years old, 12, Will Halloway and Jim Nightshade. You can't really just give a basic description of Something Wicked This Way Comes, because the magic of it is in the writing. It's in the writing style. It's in the way Bradbury exudes the sensory detail. It's overwhelming. It is just pure, it's poetry, but it doesn't move into just self-indulgence. It really has a momentum to it. It moves, the sound, the smells. You just feel so incredibly immersed in this book in a way that you aren't immersed in a lot of stuff. So back to the story. Will and Jim get caught up in a mysterious, how shall we call it, a traveling carnival. They come in the middle of the night. There are two people who run this business, Mr. Cougar and Mr. Dark. Mr. Dark is the illustrated man. He has tattoos all over his body, and those tattoos can do some very freaky stuff. And in fact, there's a lot of freaky stuff in the book. It's like Stephen King before Stephen King, except even more sentimental in some ways. Very just like childhood creepy vibes, this book just gives me feelings of just being young and the fears of growing up and the desire to grow up. That's a big part, because there's an attraction at this carnival that is able to make you older or younger. Mr. Dark is a fantastic, creepy villain. This book just knocked the soot out of my head, as Bradbury would probably say.
Give me a shake, knock the soot off my chimney. Because living, we accumulate so much knowledge in ourselves. We cake ourselves inside with improper knowledge at times. And what we want to do at times is just bang our head.
We know so much that's not true.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
See things fresh, like a kid would see it. That includes all of the fear, all the excitement, the joy. This book, for being, a creepy, spooky book, is incredibly sentimental and incredibly, when you read a Bradbury story, you're coming in knowing you're going to be getting his philosophy about life. Very optimistic, idealistic attitude. And this book is optimistic about human beings and about good and evil. It's just wholesome as all hell. And I just needed that. I think the reason I hadn't read this already, when I could have read it for many years and wanted to, it just seemed like I was holding off something I knew would warm my soul in a way that I needed it to. Every fall I go, will I read this? Will I read this? But this fall I did, and I'm so happy I did. There are some scenes and chapters in this book that are just people talking about good and evil, age, what it means to live a good life. I can't recommend this enough. Of course, if you don't like flowery kind of writing, although it's not overly flowery, like it's also concise. That's what I love about Bradbury's writing. It's concise and to the point, but also very metaphorical. If you're not into that, you may not enjoy it. The themes cohere. The story comes to just a great ending. Every October, I feel like I'm just going to want to reread this. Those are the kinds of books that I love and cherish and I want to return to always. Sometimes the world just kind of packs your brain in with stupidity and nonsense, and then you read something that's just emotional, and I'm extremely grateful for Bradbury as a writer. Thank you for watching as usual. Like and subscribe if you're into that sort of thing. Yeah.